You're in danger, pretend I'm your dad. A black man tells the billionaire daughter. The man's hand was over my mouth before I could scream. Seraphina Vale. 22 years old. Birthday today. Princeton graduate. Billionaire's daughter. His voice was low, controlled, absolutely certain in the darkness. In 10 seconds, someone is going to start shooting. In 20, your security detail will vanish. In 30, you'll be dead unless you do exactly what I say. I bit his palm. Hard. He didn't even flinch. 5 seconds, he whispered against my ear. 4. 3. The gunshot exploded through the ballroom. My birthday gala, 300 guests in designer gowns and tuxedos, champagne fountains and crystal chandeliers, diplomats and tech moguls celebrating Seraphina Vale's 22nd year, erupted into absolute chaos. The ice sculpture behind me shattered. Glass rained down. Women screamed. Men dove for cover. And I couldn't move because this stranger's arms were locked around me like a vice. 2, he counted, deadly calm while pandemonium raged. 1. The lights cut out. Complete. Total. Darkness. 300 people started screaming at once, and I was one of them, or tried to be. His hand tightened over my mouth. Now comes the interesting part, the stranger murmured. Watch what your security does. The 4 men assigned to protect you tonight. Watch. How could I watch anything? I couldn't see anything in the pitch black. Emergency lights flickered on. Dim red. Barely illuminating the stampeding crowd. And through the chaos, I saw them, Davidson, Liu, Ortiz, Morrison. My personal security detail. The 4 men who'd been assigned to keep me safe tonight. All 4 of them were walking toward the exits. Away from me. Leaving. No, I breathed against the stranger's palm. That couldn't be right. That couldn't. Another gunshot. Closer. James Brennan, my father's head of security, crumpled to the marble floor 15 feet away. Blood bloomed across his white shirt. That's when true terror hit. Time to move. The stranger released my mouth but grabbed my wrist in an iron grip. Stay low. Stay quiet. Don't let go. Who the fuck are you? The only person here trying to keep you alive. Move. Now. He pulled me through the darkness with impossible confidence, weaving through panicking bodies, around pillars, away from the main exits. Every time I stumbled in my heels, his grip steadied me. Every time I tried to pull away, he held tighter. We hit a service corridor I didn't even know existed. He kicked the door shut behind us, checked both directions, then finally, I saw his face in the harsh fluorescent lighting. Black man. Early 30s. Tall, broad-shouldered, moving with military precision. Sharp jaw, intelligent dark eyes that scanned everything like he was calculating angles and exit strategies. Wearing a simple black suit that definitely wasn't designer but fit him like tactical gear. I'd never seen him before in my entire life. Start talking, I demanded, yanking at my wrist. Right now. Who are you? How did you know? Your security detail just abandoned you during an active assassination attempt. He released me only long enough to shrug off his jacket and drape it over my shoulders, covering my distinctive scarlet Valentino gown. What does that tell you? The implication hit like ice water. They were part of it. There she is. Princeton education paying off. He grabbed my hand, not my wrist this time, my hand, and laced his fingers through mine. We have 60 seconds before they realize I got you out. When we pass the cameras, you lean on me like you're tired. You hold my hand like you trust me. And if anyone stops us, I'm not going anywhere with you until you tell me. Your name is Seraphina Vale, he cut me off, and something in his voice made me stop breathing. Your favorite color is sage green. You hide pistachios in your desk drawer even though you're allergic because they remind you of your mom. You have a scar on your left ankle from falling off a swing when you were 7. And right now, someone inside your father's empire wants you dead. My heart stopped. How do you know those things? Because I've been watching you for 22 years. The world tilted. Who are you? Malik Bishop. And we're out of time. Footsteps echoed from the direction we'd come, multiple sets, moving fast, tactical. Malik's expression shifted into something harder. Dangerous. Right now, Seraphina. Life or death. You come with me, or you go back and find out which of your father's trusted people is trying to kill you. This is insane. You're in danger. He stepped closer, his dark eyes locked on mine with an intensity that felt like gravity. So when we walk past those cameras, when anyone asks, when anyone looks, you pretend I'm your dad. I actually laughed. Hysterical. Breathless. What? You can't be serious. My father is Damien Vale, everyone knows what he looks like, you. Black, he finished calmly. Exactly. Which is why it works. That makes no sense. Your real father is too famous. Too recognizable. Every exit has someone watching for Damien Vale and his daughter. But you leaving with your father, a black man nobody expects, nobody's looking for. His mouth curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. We're invisible. The footsteps were getting closer. Trust me, Seraphina. Just for the next 10 minutes. Trust me. Why would I trust you? I don't even know you. Something flickered in his eyes. Pain? Recognition? Something deeper than a stranger should feel. Yes, Malik Bishop said softly. You do. And before I could ask what the hell that meant, he pulled me toward the service elevator, and I had 1 second to decide. Go back to the ballroom where my security had abandoned me and James Brennan was bleeding out. Or follow this stranger who knew impossible things and looked at me like he'd been waiting my entire life to find me. I held his hand tighter. Good girl, he murmured. The elevator doors closed on the sound of approaching footsteps, and we descended into the underground parking structure of Vale Tower, away from everything I'd ever known, everything I'd ever believed about my life. I didn't know it yet, but I'd just made the decision that would shatter my entire world. Because Malik Bishop wasn't a random security specialist. He wasn't working for my father. And that line, pretend I'm your dad, wasn't just a disguise strategy. It was the truth my father had spent 22 years and $9 billion burying. Hey beautiful souls, I need you to do something for me right now. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, because this story is about to get darker, more twisted, and more shocking than you can imagine. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button now because you're going to want to follow every single revelation that's coming. What do you think Malik meant? How does he really know Seraphina? Drop your theories below, I love reading them. The parking garage was almost empty at 11 p.m. Our footsteps echoed on concrete as Malik led me between rows of luxury cars, Bentleys, Maseratis, vehicles worth more than most people's houses. His hand never left mine. Where are we going? I demanded. Somewhere they won't look. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting right now. He stopped beside a nondescript black SUV, not the kind of vehicle anyone in my world would drive. Too ordinary. Too invisible. Just like he'd said. He opened the passenger door. Get in. I didn't move. Not until you tell me what's happening. Not until you explain how you know things about me that nobody knows. The pistachio thing. The scar. How? Seraphina. He turned to face me fully, and in the harsh parking garage lighting, I saw his face clearly for the first time. Really saw it. The strong features. The intelligent eyes. The way he looked at me like he knew me. Like he'd always known me. Someone inside your father's organization wants you dead, Malik said quietly. Someone with power. Resources. Patience. They just tried to kill you in a room full of witnesses, which means they're desperate. Which means we're out of time. I will explain everything, I promise you that, but first I need to get you somewhere safe. Safe? I don't even know who you are. Yes, you do. He reached out slowly, carefully, and touched my cheek, a gesture so familiar it made my breath catch. Look at me, Serafina. Really look. I looked. Dark eyes. Strong jaw. Something in the shape of his face that felt like. No. No. That's impossible, I whispered. Is it? His thumb brushed my cheekbone, gentle, devastating. Your mother's name was Catherine. She died when you were 3. You don't remember much about her, but you remember her singing. And you remember someone else. Someone who used to hold you. Read to you. Someone who disappeared. My knees went weak. Stop. You were too young to understand. Too young to remember clearly. But sometimes, late at night, you remember strong arms. A deep voice. Someone who called you his little star. His voice cracked. Don't you? I did. God help me, I did. Fragments. Pieces. Memories I'd convinced myself were dreams because they didn't fit the narrative of my life. Of being Damien Vale's daughter. Of my mother dying and it being just the 2 of us. But there had been someone else. Before. No, I breathed. You're lying. This is some kind of. I'm not lying. Malik's hand dropped from my face. And deep down, you know I'm not. You feel it. Don't you? I felt something. Recognition. Impossible. Terrifying. Get in the car, Serafina. Let me get you safe. And then. He took a shaky breath. Then I'll tell you everything. About your mother. About Damien Vale. About why I told you to pretend I'm your dad. Because it's not pretend, I whispered. His silence was answer enough. Somewhere above us, in the building I'd called home my entire life, people were hunting me. My security detail had vanished. Someone wanted me dead. And the only person offering protection was a man claiming to be. No. Impossible. Insane. But I got in the car. Because 22 years ago, someone had held me and called me their little star. And as Malik Bishop started the engine and we fled into the Seattle night, I had the terrifying feeling I was about to discover that everything I believed about my life was a lie. The Seattle skyline disappeared behind us as Malik drove with the same precise control he'd shown navigating through the chaos of my birthday gala. Every turn deliberate. Every lane change calculated. His eyes constantly checking mirrors like he expected pursuit. Maybe he did. I sat rigid in the passenger seat, his suit jacket still draped over my shoulders, my Valentino gown feeling ridiculous now. Dressed for champagne and diplomats, fleeing through the night with a stranger who claimed. I couldn't even finish the thought. Where are we going? My voice came out smaller than I wanted. I have a place. 40 minutes outside the city. Malik's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror again. Secure. Off-grid. Somewhere your father doesn't know about. My father. The words tasted strange. Which father? Damien Vale, the tech billionaire who'd raised me, given me everything, built an empire that had my name in the succession documents. Or the man driving. You said you'd explain. I turned to face him fully. We're in the car. We're away from whoever. So explain. Now. Malik's jaw tightened. You want the full story while I'm making sure we're not being followed. I want something. Because right now, I'm in a car with a complete stranger who somehow knows things about my childhood that, my voice cracked. That I barely remember myself. So yes. Explain. He was silent for a long moment, navigating onto I-90 East, heading toward the mountains. Finally, he spoke. Your mother's name was Catherine Monroe, Malik said quietly. She was a researcher at Vale Technologies. Brilliant. Beautiful. Ambitious. She caught Damien Vale's attention at a company symposium in 2001. I knew this story. Or a version of it. My father had told me he fell in love with a brilliant researcher. They married. Had me. She died of an aneurysm when I was 3. Simple. Tragic. Complete. But Catherine was already involved with someone else when she met Damien, Malik continued, and his knuckles went white on the steering wheel. Someone who worked private security. Former Marine. Someone who loved her completely. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. You. Me. He took a shaky breath. We were together for 2 years before she took that job at Vale Tech. We were happy, Serafina. We were planning. He stopped himself. It doesn't matter now what we were planning. What happened? Damien Vale happened. There was no bitterness in his voice, just flat, terrible truth. He wanted her. And what Damien Vale wants, he gets. He offered her opportunities one couldn't match. Research funding. Lab facilities. A chance to change the world. And he wanted her to leave me. I felt sick. She left you. She tried not to. Malik's voice softened. Catherine fought it for months. But Damien is persuasive. Powerful. He didn't just offer her a job, he offered her everything. And eventually, she convinced herself she loved him. Or maybe she did love him. I don't know anymore. So she married him. Yes. The single word carried decades of pain. Married him. And 9 months later, you were born. The implication hung in the air like smoke. No, I whispered. No, that's Damien Vale is my father. He raised me. He raised you, Malik agreed. But biology isn't about who's there for birthdays, Serafina. It's about DNA. Timelines. Math. You're saying, I couldn't breathe. You're saying you're my biological father. I'm saying the timeline is interesting. He took an exit, heading into darker roads, away from streetlights. Catherine married Damien in March 2002. You were born December 31st, 2002. 9 months and 3 weeks. My mind raced, calculating. That could still be. Could be, Malik acknowledged. If she got pregnant immediately. On her honeymoon. First try. He glanced at me. Or you could have been conceived in February. Before the wedding. When she came to see me one last time. The world tilted. This is insane, I breathed. You're insane. If any of this were true, if you actually thought, why didn't you fight for custody? Why didn't you? I tried. The rawness in his voice stopped me cold. I tried everything. But Damien had lawyers, money, power. He had Catherine's signature on documents saying I was unstable, dangerous, harassing her. He had a marriage certificate. He had everything. His hands tightened on the wheel. And then Catherine died. I remember that day only in fragments. Being 3 years old. Someone crying. My father, Damien, holding me tight, telling me Mommy had gone to heaven. Aneurysm, I whispered. That's what he told me. That's what the death certificate says, Malik said carefully. But Catherine was 28 years old, Serafina. No family history. Perfect health. And she died 3 days after telling me she'd found something in Damien's files. Something about his company. Something dangerous. Ice flooded my veins. You think he killed her? I think the timing is suspicious. He pulled onto a gravel road, trees closing in on both sides. And I think when I tried to push for an investigation, I suddenly had federal charges filed against me. Stalking. Harassment. Threatening a billionaire's family. I spent 6 months in jail, and by the time I got out, Damien had disappeared with you. New security. New protocols. I couldn't get within a mile of you. So you've been, what? Watching from a distance for 22 years? Protecting from a distance, he corrected. Making sure you were safe. Making sure Damien kept you alive, at least. But I could never get close. Never make contact. Not until tonight. Why tonight? What changed? Malik pulled up to a small cabin, barely visible through the trees, no lights except what the headlights revealed. He killed the engine and finally turned to face me fully. 2 weeks ago, I intercepted communication suggesting someone was planning a move against you. Not just surveillance. Not just threats. Actual execution. I tried to warn Damien through back channels, but he shook his head. Either he didn't take it seriously, or he's involved. My father wouldn't. I stopped. Which father? And how well did I actually know Damien Vale? I thought about the man who raised me. Brilliant. Driven. Obsessed with security and control. Who taught me chess and strategy. Who sent me to the best schools, surrounded me with guards, monitored my every movement. Protection? Or control? I don't know what to believe, I whispered. I know. Malik reached out slowly, giving me time to pull away, and took my hand. His palm was calloused, warm, steady. I know this is overwhelming. I know you have no reason to trust me. But Serafina, tonight someone tried to kill you at your own birthday party. Your personal security vanished. And the only person who showed up to save you is a man claiming to be your biological father. Claiming, I repeated. You said claiming. So you don't even know for sure. I know what Catherine told me the last time I saw her alive. His thumb brushed over my knuckles. She told me you were mine. She told me she'd made a mistake marrying Damien. She told me she was going to leave him and bring you to me. And then she died. And then she died. His voice cracked. And I lost both of you. I looked at this man, this stranger who somehow didn't feel like a stranger. Who moved like a soldier and spoke like someone who'd spent 22 years in pain. Who'd pulled me out of danger without hesitation. Who looked at me like I was his entire world. If this is true, I said slowly, if any of this is true, we could get a DNA test. Prove it. We could. Malik nodded. And we will, if you want that. But right now, the priority is keeping you alive long enough to get answers. Who wants me dead? If it's not just random. It's not random. He released my hand and pulled out his phone, scrolling through something. Someone inside Vale Technologies has been moving money. Lots of money. Through shell companies, offshore accounts. And 3 days ago, a contract went out. $500,000 for your death, made to look like an accident or robbery. My stomach turned. Who? Who would? That's what we need to figure out. He showed me his phone screen, financial documents, transaction records, things I only half understood. But whoever it is has access to your father's systems. His security. His network. Which means we can't trust anyone in that world. So what do? We disappear. We investigate. We figure out who wants you dead and why. He met my eyes. And we keep you alive. I looked at the cabin, dark, isolated, nothing like the penthouse suite I'd woken up in this morning. Nothing like my life. This morning I'd been Serafina Vale, billionaire's daughter, heiress to an empire, believing I was safe and loved and knew who I was. Tonight I was a target with 2 possible fathers and no idea which version of my life was real. My voice broke. I need a minute. To process. To think. Take all the time you need. Malik pocketed his phone. I'll check the perimeter, make sure we weren't followed. There's supplies inside, I've kept this place stocked for years, just in case. You'll find clothes that might fit, food, basics. He paused. And Serafina? Lock the door behind me. Don't open it for anyone but me. I'll knock 4 times, pause, then twice. Anything else? Don't open it, I finished. I understand. He nodded and climbed out of the SUV. I watched him move through the darkness with tactical precision, checking sight lines, listening to the forest. A Marine. A security specialist. A man who'd spent 22 years watching me from a distance. My father? I grabbed my phone from the hidden pocket in my gown, thank God for designer dresses with actual pockets, and my heart sank. No signal. Of course. Off-grid meant off-grid. Couldn't call Damien. Couldn't call anyone. Was that intentional? Was Malik isolating me? Or protecting me? I climbed out of the SUV, my heels immediately sinking into soft earth. Wrong shoes for everything happening tonight. Wrong dress. Wrong life. The cabin door was unlocked. Inside was sparse but functional, small living area, kitchenette, 2 doors that presumably led to bedroom and bathroom. Military neat. Clean. Impersonal except for one thing. A photograph on the small table. My hand shook as I picked it up. A younger Malik, maybe 25, with his arm around a beautiful woman with warm eyes and dark hair. Catherine Monroe. My mother. She was laughing at something off camera, and Malik was looking at her like she was his entire universe. And in the corner of the photo, barely visible, was an ultrasound image tucked into the frame. My ultrasound? I sank onto the couch, still holding the photograph, and for the first time since the gunshot shattered my birthday gala, I started to cry. Not delicate tears. Ugly, gasping sobs that I'd learned to suppress years ago in boarding school. Tears for the mother I barely remembered. For the life I thought I knew. For the terror of tonight. For the impossible choice between 2 fathers. For the growing, terrifying feeling that Malik Bishop was telling the truth. The door opened, for knocks, pause, 2 knocks, and Malik stepped inside. He saw me crying and froze. Serafina. Is this her? I held up the photograph. Is this my mother? Yes. He closed the door quietly, locked it. That was taken about a month before she met Damien. We'd just found out she was pregnant. With me? With you. I looked at the ultrasound image. At the date printed in the corner. February 2002. 9 months before I was born. The timeline fit. God help me, it all fit. I don't know who I am anymore, I whispered. Malik crossed the room slowly and sat beside me, and not too close, giving me space. You're Serafina Vale. You're brilliant, brave, and stronger than you know. You graduated top of your class from Princeton. You speak 4 languages. You have a scar on your ankle from a swing set, and you hide pistachios even though you're allergic. His voice softened. And whether I'm your biological father or not, whether you believe anything I've told you tonight or not, I will protect you with my life. That's a promise. I looked at this man who'd pulled me from danger. Who'd watched me for 22 years. Who'd lost everything and still kept vigil. I want the DNA test, I said. When this is over. When we figure out who tried to kill me. I want to know the truth. Done. He nodded. Anything else? Yeah. I wiped my eyes. I want to know everything. About my mother. About you. About what Damien might be hiding. All of it. Okay. And Malik? I met his eyes. If you're lying to me about any of this, I will make you regret it. A small, sad smile crossed his face. That's my girl. Catherine's fire. He stood, offered me his hand. Come on. Let's get you out of that dress and into something practical. Tomorrow we start hunting for answers. Tonight, you rest. I took his hand and let him pull me to my feet. My father, Damien, had given me everything. Wealth, education, opportunity, the world on a silver platter. But he'd never taught me how to fight for my life. Malik Bishop, this stranger who might be my real father, was about to teach me how to survive. And as I changed out of my designer gown and into tactical clothes that fit surprisingly well, I realized something terrifying. For the first time in 22 years, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Even if that place was running for my life with a man I'd just met. Even if everything I believed about my identity was crumbling. Even if the truth was going to destroy me. I was ready. I woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of Malik's voice, low and urgent, speaking to someone. My eyes snapped open. The bedroom was still dark, early morning, maybe 5 or 6. I'd fallen asleep in tactical pants and a black t-shirt Malik had provided, too exhausted to do more than collapse onto the bed. Now adrenaline flooded my system. Who was he talking to? I crept to the bedroom door, pressing my ear against it. Don't care what the official story is, Malik was saying. I was there. I saw the security detail walk away. No, she's safe. That's not your concern. Because I don't trust anyone in that building, that's why. Silence. He was listening to whoever was on the other end. Tell him his daughter is alive and protected. Nothing more. Another pause. If he actually cares, he'll understand why I'm not giving locations. He was talking about Damien. I eased the door open quietly. Malik stood at the kitchenette counter, his back to me, phone pressed to his ear. Dawn light filtered through the cabin windows, casting everything in grey and blue. I'll make contact when it's safe, Malik said. Not before. Yeah, you too. Stay alert. He ended the call and set the phone down, his shoulders tight with tension. Who was that? I asked. He spun, hand moving instinctively toward his waistband, toward a gun I now realized he'd been carrying all night. When he saw it was me, he relaxed slightly. Someone I trust, he said. One of maybe 3 people in this world who isn't compromised. That's not an answer. It's the best you're getting right now. He poured coffee into 2 mugs. How'd you sleep? Like I was running for my life. I crossed to the counter, accepting the mug he offered. Black, no sugar. How did he know I took it black? What's the official story? You said official story on the phone. Malik's jaw tightened. Turn on the TV. There was a small television mounted in the corner. I found the remote and clicked it on, flipping to a news channel. My own face stared back at me. Tragedy at the Vale Tower last night, the news anchor was saying, her expression grave. 22-year-old Serafina Vale, daughter of tech billionaire Damien Vale, is missing following a violent incident at her birthday celebration. Security footage shows Ms. Vale leaving the building during the chaos, but her current whereabouts are unknown. The screen shifted to footage, grainy, black and white, clearly from security cameras. I watched myself walking through a service corridor, holding hands with Malik, leaning against him exactly like he'd instructed. Like a daughter with her father. The footage was deliberately unclear, you couldn't make out Malik's features, just his build, his presence. Authorities are asking anyone with information to come forward, the anchor continued. Mr. Vale has offered a $5 million reward for information leading to his daughter's safe return. He released this statement early this morning. The screen cut to Damien Vale. My father, the man who raised me, looked haggard. Exhausted. His normally perfect silver hair was disheveled, his tie loose. He stood in front of Vale Tower, flanked by security and lawyers. Serafina, he said, looking directly into the camera, and my heart clenched. If you're watching this, please come home. You're not in trouble. You're not safe out there, wherever you are. Whatever happened last night, whatever you think you know, we can sort it through together. Just come home. He paused, and something flickered in his eyes. Something I couldn't read. And to whoever has my daughter, he continued, his voice dropping into something harder, return her unharmed, and I'll double the reward. $10 million. No questions asked. But if you hurt her, if you so much as touch her, there is nowhere on this earth you can hide from me. The broadcast cut back to the anchor discussing the investigation. I stood frozen, coffee mug trembling in my hands. He thinks I'm kidnapped, I whispered. He thinks someone took me. That's the story that makes sense to him, Malik said quietly. The alternative, that you left willingly with someone who claims to be your biological father, that's not a narrative Damien Vale can accept. He looked, I couldn't finish. Damien had looked destroyed. Terrified. Like a father who'd lost his child. Not like a man who'd orchestrated an assassination attempt. This doesn't make sense, I said. If Damien wanted me dead, why offer a reward? Why go on television looking like that? Because he's a billionaire who just lost control of his most valuable asset, Malik said. You're not just his daughter, Serafina. You're his heir. His succession plan. His legacy. Whether he wanted you dead or not, he needs you back. But my phone buzzed. Both of us froze. I thought there was no signal, I said. There isn't. Malik's expression went hard. Unless someone just boosted it. Unless they're triangulating. Don't answer it. But I'd already seen the caller ID. Father. Not Dad. Not Damien. Just father, the way I'd programmed it into my phone when I was 16 and going through a phase of formal distance. It buzzed again. Insistent. Serafina, do not. I answered it. Hello? Thank God. Damien's voice cracked with relief. Serafina, are you hurt? Where are you? Who's with you? I'm fine, Stay on the line. Just stay on the line, sweetheart. We're going to trace this call and come get you. You're going to be safe. I promise. My blood went cold. Trace the call. Malik's eyes widened. He lunged for my phone, but I was already hearing it, background noise on Damien's end. Clicking. Voices. Someone saying, got a location, she's. You're tracking me, I breathed. For your safety, Damien said quickly. Serafina, whoever has you, they're dangerous. They're lying to you. That man you're with. How do you know it's a man? Silence. Too long. The security footage, Damien said finally. We saw you leave with someone. A male subject. We're analyzing. You knew. The realization hit like ice water. You knew exactly who I left with. You know who Malik is. Another pause. Then, is that what he's calling himself? Serafina, listen to me very carefully. Malik Bishop is a disturbed individual with a decades-long obsession with our family. He's convinced himself of delusions about your mother, about you. He spent time in jail for trying to investigate my mother's death. I cut him off. For asking questions you didn't want answered. Serafina. Is he my biological father? The silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Answer me, I demanded. Is Malik Bishop my biological father? This isn't a conversation for a phone call, Damien said, and his voice had shifted into something I'd never heard before, cold, controlled, dangerous. This is a conversation we have face to face, after I've ensured your safety. That's not a denial. Serafina Vale, you listen to me. All pretense of warm concern vanished. You are my daughter. I raised you. I protected you. I gave you everything. And right now, you're in danger from people you can't even imagine. People inside my organization who want to use you, hurt you, or worse. You need to come home. Now. People inside your organization. I repeated. You mean the security detail that abandoned me? The people who shot James Brennan? Those people. We're handling. Is James alive? He's in critical condition. And Serafina, we've identified the shooters. They were hired contractors, not my people. Someone infiltrated. Someone with access, I interrupted. Someone close. Someone you trust. Malik told me that last night. Malik is manipulating you. Damien's voice rose. He's been planning this for years. Waiting for an opportunity to get close to you, to turn you against me, to destroy everything we've built. You can't trust him. And I can trust you. The words came out harder than I intended. The man who maybe lied about who my real father is? Who maybe killed my mother? Who maybe? I have never lied to you about anything that mattered, Damien said, and there was real pain in his voice now. And I did not kill Catherine. I loved Catherine. She was my wife. The mother of my child. He stopped. Serafina, please. Just tell me where you are. Let me send someone to get you. Someone you trust. Your godfather, what about Marcus Hightower? You trust him, don't you? Marcus Hightower. My godfather. Damien's best friend and CFO of Vale Technologies. Who'd been at the gala last night. Who'd had access to my security schedule. Who managed the company's finances? Who could move money through shell companies and offshore accounts? I have to go, I whispered. Serafina, don't you dare. I ended the call and threw the phone on the counter like it was burning me. How long was I on? I asked Malik. He was already typing on his laptop. 90 seconds. Long enough to triangulate if they have the right equipment. Which Damien definitely has. He slammed the laptop shut. We need to move. Now. He knew, I said, my mind reeling. He knew I was with you. He knew your name. He's known all along that you've been watching you. Yes. Malik was already grabbing supplies, shoving them into a tactical backpack. I've been careful, but Damien Vale doesn't get to be a billionaire by being stupid. He's probably known for years that I've kept tabs on you. Then why didn't he? Because I never made a move. Never got close. Never threatened his control. He tossed me a jacket. Until last night. Outside, I heard something. Distant. But growing closer. Helicopter blades. They found us, I breathed. Not yet. But they're searching the area. Malik grabbed my hand. There's a vehicle stashed half a mile through the woods. We can reach it before. The window exploded inward. I screamed as glass shattered everywhere. Malik threw himself over me, shielding my body with his as something small and cylindrical bounced across the floor. Flashbang, he shouted. Close your eyes. I squeezed my eyes shut just as the world turned white and sound became a physical thing that punched through my skull. Even with my eyes closed, the flash was blinding. The bang was so loud I felt it in my bones. When I could see again, spots dancing in my vision, ears ringing, Malik was hauling me toward the back door. Go, go, go. We burst out into the dawn forest. Behind us, I heard voices. Multiple voices. Tactical commands. Target sighted, back in trance. Suspect is armed. Stand down. Miss Vale is present. Malik pulled me into the trees, running. My feet, still in tactical boots he'd given me, thank God, pounded against earth and roots. Branches whipped at my face. Who are they? I gasped. Private contractors. Could be Damien's people. Could be whoever wants you dead. Either way, we run. A shot rang out. The tree next to us exploded in splinters. They're shooting. I screamed. They said I was present, they're not supposed to. Supposed to doesn't mean shit right now. Malik yanked me sideways, changing direction. They either want you dead or they're trying to separate us. Neither is acceptable. We crashed through underbrush. The helicopter sound grew louder, they were vectoring in on our position. My lungs burned. My legs screamed. But I kept running because the alternative was death or capture, and I wasn't ready for either. We burst into a clearing, and I saw it, a old jeep covered in camouflage netting, hidden so well I'd have walked right past it. Malik ripped the netting off, threw open the driver's door. Get in. I scrambled into the passenger seat. He turned the key. Nothing. No, he tried again. The engine turned over but didn't catch. Behind us, voices were getting closer. Malik. I know. Third try. The engine roared to life. We lurched forward just as 3 men in tactical gear burst into the clearing. Stop the vehicle. Malik floored it. Gunfire erupted behind us. I ducked instinctively as the rear window shattered. Malik didn't even flinch, just drove with one hand while pulling a gun with the other. Take the wheel, he shouted. What? Take it. I grabbed the steering wheel while he twisted in his seat and returned fire, controlled, precise shots that sent the tactical team diving for cover. We hit the tree line doing 40 miles an hour on a road that barely existed. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Could only hold on as Malik took back the wheel and navigated impossible terrain while helicopter blades chopped the air above us. Who were they? I shouted over the noise. Were they trying to rescue me or kill me? Does it matter? Malik swerved around a massive tree root. Either way, they separate us, and you're vulnerable. My father wouldn't. Your father just traced your call and sent a tactical team to a supposedly secure location within 20 minutes, Malik cut me off. That's not rescue protocol, Serafina. That's extraction. Or elimination. I thought about Damien's voice on the phone. The coldness when he'd said this isn't a conversation for a phone call. The way he'd never actually denied that Malik was my biological father. The way he'd known Malik's name. Where are we going? I asked. Somewhere Damien can't follow. Malik's jaw was set. Somewhere that'll force him to show his cards. Where? He glanced at me, and I saw the decision in his eyes. The plan he'd been holding in reserve. We're going to Veil Technologies, he said. We're going to break into your father's private servers. And we're going to find out exactly what he's hiding about your mother's death, about the money being moved, about who wants you dead. That's insane. That's corporate espionage, that's the only way to get answers. He took a sharp turn onto what looked like an actual road. You want the truth. It's in those servers. Financial records. Communications. Maybe even DNA tests he ran 22 years ago. My heart stopped. DNA tests. You think a man like Damien Vale would raise a child without knowing for certain she was his? Malik's voice was hard. If those tests exist, he's kept them. Locked away. Buried deep. But they're there. I thought about my father, Damien, and his obsessive need for information, for control, for certainty. Malik was right. If there were DNA tests, Damien would have kept them. Which meant he'd known all along whether I was his biological daughter. And he'd never told me. How do we get in? I asked. Veil Technologies has security that I designed, Malik interrupted. 3 years ago, under a contract alias. I know every weak point in that system. Of course he did. This man had spent 22 years preparing for this moment. Okay, I said, and I couldn't believe the words coming out of my mouth. Okay. We break in. We get the truth. Malik smiled, the first real smile I'd seen from him. That's my girl, he said softly. And as we raced toward the city, toward Vale Tower, toward answers that would either prove Malik was my father or expose him as the most elaborate liar I'd ever met, I realized something terrifying. I wanted him to be telling the truth. I wanted this stranger to be my father. Because if he wasn't, if this was all manipulation and lies, then I was completely alone. And that was more frightening than any bullet. We ditched the Jeep in a parking garage 3 blocks from Vale Tower. We can't just walk in the front door, I said as Malik led me through concrete levels filled with expensive cars. Security will recognize me instantly. We're not going through the front door. He stopped at a nondescript sedan, grey, forgettable, and pulled keys from his pocket. Get in. How many vehicles do you have stashed around Seattle? Enough. He started the engine. Your father taught me one thing, always have an exit strategy. And a backup? And a backup to the backup. We drove in silence for 2 blocks before I noticed where we were heading. The metro tunnel. I frowned. The underground transit system connects to Vale Tower. Not officially. Malik pulled into a maintenance entrance, flashing a badge I didn't get a good look at. The security guard waved us through without question. But there's a service corridor that runs beneath the building. Your father had it built during construction, emergency evacuation route. Only a handful of people know it exists. And you're one of them. I told you. I designed security for Veil Tech 3 years ago. Under the name David Masters. He navigated down a ramp into darkness. Damien never knew it was me. I made sure of it. The implications made my head spin. You've been planning this for 3 years? Getting close to my father's systems. 22 years, Malik corrected quietly. The security contract was just the most recent phase. He parked in what looked like an abandoned maintenance area. Water dripped from pipes overhead. The air smelled like concrete and rust. We walk from here, Malik said, grabbing the tactical backpack. Stay close. Don't touch anything. The corridor has sensors, but I know the blind spots. How long until someone realizes we're here? If we're lucky? 2 hours. If we're not. He handed me a small earpiece. These are comms. You hear anything wrong, you run. Don't wait for me. Just run. I'm not leaving you. The word surprised both of us. Malik looked at me for a long moment. You barely know me, Seyafina. I know you've kept me alive for the past 12 hours when everyone else either vanished or started shooting. I fitted the earpiece. I know you've spent 22 years watching over me. And I know that if you wanted to hurt me, you've had a dozen chances. That's not proof I'm telling the truth about everything else. No, I agreed. But it's enough to make me want to find out. Something shifted in his expression, vulnerability I hadn't seen before. Catherine used to say that. I want to find out. She was always curious. Always questioning. His voice softened. You're so much like her. Tell me about her, I said. While we walk. Tell me about my mother. Malik smiled sadly and opened a door I hadn't noticed, hidden behind a false panel. Come on. The corridor beyond was narrow, dimly lit by emergency lighting. Our footsteps echoed. Catherine was brilliant, Malik began as we walked. PhD in computational systems by 24. She could see patterns in data that no one else noticed. Damien recruited her because she discovered a flaw in veil text encryption, found it by accident while doing research at MIT. She hacked my father's company. Accidentally. Malik navigated around a sensor I couldn't even see. She sent him a detailed report showing exactly how she'd done it and how to fix it. Most people would have exploited that information. Catherine just wanted to solve the problem. What was she like? As a person? Funny. Kind. Stubborn as hell. He smiled at the memory. She laughed at terrible jokes. She cried at sad movies even when she knew they were manipulative. She believed people were fundamentally good, which drove me crazy because I knew better. You loved her. I loved her more than anything. His voice cracked. And when she chose Damien, he stopped walking. I'm not going to lie and say I handled it well. I didn't. I was angry, hurt, stupid. I said things I regretted. But I never stopped loving her. And when she came to me that last time, when she told me she was pregnant and the baby might be mine. Wait. I grabbed his arm. Might be? She didn't know for sure. Malik's jaw tightened. The timeline was complicated. She'd been with Damien. But she'd also been with me. One last time, right before the wedding. A goodbye that became, he didn't finish. So she genuinely didn't know which of you was my father. She knew it was possible either way. And she told me that if you were mine, she'd leave Damien. Bring you to me. We'd figure it out together. His eyes went distant. 3 days later, she was dead. We started walking again, faster now. I could feel time pressing on us. The files we're looking for, I said. What exactly are we after? 3 things. Malik held up fingers. 1. Any DNA tests Damien ran on you. If they exist, they'll be in his private files, not company records. 2. Financial transactions from the past month. The shell companies, the offshore accounts, the contract on your life. And 3. Anything related to Catherine's death. Medical records, autopsy reports, anything he might have kept. That's a lot to find in 2 hours. I'll take 30 minutes. He stopped at another hidden door. I know exactly where Damien keeps his most sensitive files. I've been mapping his digital infrastructure for 3 years. The door opened into a server room, rows of black equipment humming with power, lights blinking like artificial stars. This is it, Malik whispered. The heart of Veil Technologies. Everything your father has ever done, every secret he's ever kept, it's all here. He moved to a terminal and his fingers flew over the keyboard. Screens lit up with code, security protocols, encryption layers. I watched him work, and something occurred to me. Malik? If you've had access to these systems for 3 years, why wait until now? Why not get the answers before? His hands paused on the keyboard. Because breaking in remotely would have left traces. Damien would have found them, locked me out, maybe hurt you to punish me. But now? He resumed typing. Now we're already blown. He knows I have you. He knows we're together. The game's already in play, so we might as well get what we came for. And if we find proof you're not my biological father? The question hung in the air. Malik didn't look at me. Then I'm a man who's wasted 22 years on a beautiful lie. And you go back to Damien. To your real life. To safety. What if we find proof you are? Now he looked at me. Then everything changes. For both of us. A screen beeped. Malik's eyes widened. Got something, he said. DNA analysis. Multiple files. Dated. He scrolled. December 2002. January 2003. March 2003. He ran 3 separate tests. My heart stopped. What do they say? Malik opened the first file. I watched his face as he read, trying to decipher his expression. Malik? What does it? Probability of paternity, he read aloud, his voice strange. Damien Vale and Seyafina Vale, 0.02%. The world tilted. That's 0, I whispered. That means he's not. He's not your biological father. Malik opened the second file. This one's from a month later. Same result. And this one, he opened the third. 3 months old. 0.02%. He ran the test 3 times, Seyafina. And every time, the answer was the same. I couldn't breathe. He's known for 22 years that I'm not his biological daughter. And he never told you. Malik's voice was hard. He raised you anyway. Claimed you as his heir. Built his succession plan around you. All while knowing that I wasn't his. I sank into a chair, my legs giving out. Why? Why would he do that? Because you were Catherine's daughter. Malik pulled up another file. And he loved Catherine. Maybe loved her enough to raise her child even knowing she wasn't his. Or because I was useful, I said bitterly. An heir. A legacy. A way to hold on to Catherine even after she died. Maybe both. Malik kept searching. But Seyafina, if Damien's not your father, and the timeline suggests I am. Do you have a file? I cut him off. Did he test your DNA? Malik's fingers flew. Looking, yes. Here. Sample labeled MB dated January 2003. And? He opened it. I watched his face transform, shock, joy, pain, everything at once. Probability of paternity, 99.97%, he read, his voice breaking. Seyafina, I'm your father. I'm actually your father. I should have felt something. Joy, relief, certainty. Instead, I felt numb. He knew, I whispered. Damien knew you were my real father, and he kept me anyway. Kept me from you. Sent you to jail. Threatened you. All while knowing the truth. That son of a bitch. Malik's hand clenched into fists. That absolute son of a... An alarm blared. Red lights flooded the server room. Unauthorized access detected, a computerized voice announced. Security protocol initiated. Shit. Malik grabbed a USB drive, shoving it into the terminal. They found us faster than I thought. We need these files. The door we'd come through slammed shut. Magnetic locks engaged with heavy chunks of metal. Malik. My voice went high with panic. Working on it. He typed frantically. Come on, download. Attention intruders, the voice said. You have 60 seconds to surrender before countermeasures are deployed. What countermeasures? I demanded. Nothing good. The download bar crawled across the screen. 70%. 80. 45 seconds. Malik. I know. 90%. I heard something hissing. Looked up. Vents in the ceiling were opening. Is that gas? Knockout gas. Non-lethal. Probably. Malik ripped his shirt, tore it in half, shoved fabric at me. Cover your mouth and nose. Now. I pressed the fabric to my face as sweet-smelling vapor began filling the room. 95%. 30 seconds. Come on. Malik shouted at the screen. 98%. My head was already swimming. The fabric wasn't enough. I could feel myself getting dizzy. Malik, I can't. Stay with me. He grabbed my hand. Stay awake, Serafina. 100%. He ripped the USB drive free. 15 seconds. Emergency exit. He pulled me toward the back of the server room. Should be here. He kicked a panel. Once. Twice. On the third kick, it gave way, revealing a narrow maintenance shaft. Climb. Go. I crawled into the shaft, Malik right behind me. The gas followed us, tendrils of sweet-smelling vapor reaching like fingers. We crawled through darkness, my vision tunneling, my limbs getting heavy. Keep moving, Malik's voice sounded far away. Don't stop. Don't. I heard him collapse behind me. Malik! I tried to turn around in the narrow space, but I couldn't. Could barely move. Malik! No response. The gas was winning. I kept crawling. Inch by inch. Fighting unconsciousness. Had to get out. Had to get help. Had to. Light ahead. Fresh air. I fell out of the shaft into a different corridor, gasping, my lungs burning. Behind me, Malik wasn't moving. No, I grabbed his arms, tried to pull him. He was too heavy. Too far gone. Footsteps approached. Multiple sets. Running. I had seconds to decide. Stay with Malik and get captured. Or run and hope I could save us both. I looked at the USB drive clutched in his hand. The proof. The evidence. Everything we'd risked our lives for. I took it. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so sorry. I'll come back for you. I promise. And then I ran. Away from the man who'd just been proven to be my real father. Away from the only person who'd protected me. Into Vale Tower, alone, with evidence that would destroy Damien Vale. If I survived long enough to use it. I stumbled through corridors I'd walked 1,000 times, but everything looked different through my gas-hazed vision. The USB drive burned in my pocket like a live coal. Behind me, alarms still wailed. They had Malik. My father, my real father, was unconscious in Vale Tower's security custody, and I'd left him there. I'll come back. I have to come back. But first, I needed leverage. I needed to know what else was on this drive. I ducked into a bathroom, executive level, the one I'd used countless times during visits to Damien's office. Locked myself in a stall and pulled out my phone. Still no signal in most of the building, but the executive floors had different protocols. Damien had insisted on it. In case of emergency, he'd said. The irony wasn't lost on me. My phone connected to Vale Tower's secure network, I still had access, apparently. Either Damien hadn't thought to revoke it, or he wanted me to have it. Neither option was comforting. I pulled out the USB drive with shaking hands and used the adapter I kept in my phone case, a habit from Princeton, from late-night study sessions and last-minute file transfers. The drive contained dozens of files. DNA tests. Financial records. Encrypted documents. And one video file dated March 15, 2003. 3 months after I was born. My finger hovered over it. Whatever was on this video, it would change everything. I knew it with the same certainty I knew Malik was telling the truth about being my father. I pressed play. The screen showed a hospital room. Private, expensive. Catherine, my mother, sat in the bed, holding a baby. Holding me. She looked exhausted but radiant, her dark hair pulled back, hospital gown wrinkled. And she was looking at someone off camera with such love it made my chest ache. Are you recording? Her voice. I'd forgotten what she sounded like. Damien, why are you? For her. Damien's voice came from behind the camera. Younger, softer than I'd ever heard it. When she's older. So she knows. Knows what? The camera moved, and suddenly I could see Damien sitting beside the bed. Younger, 40 instead of 62, but recognizably him. He reached out and touched my mother's face with devastating gentleness. That I loved you, he said quietly. Both of you. No matter what. Catherine's eyes filled with tears. Damien, we need to talk about. I know she's not mine biologically. His voice was steady. I've known since the test came back. And Catherine, I don't care. My mother's face crumpled. How can you not care? She's Malik's daughter. The man she couldn't finish. The man you loved first, Damien finished for her? I know. And maybe part of you still loves him. But Catherine, you chose me. You married me. You're building a life with me. And this baby, our baby, because that's what she is regardless of DNA, she deserves better than being caught in the middle of our mistakes. This isn't fair to you. Fair? Damien laughed, but it was sad. Nothing about love is fair. But I'm choosing this. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing her. He looked down at baby me with such tenderness. Serafina. Our little star. Catherine wiped her eyes. What about Malik? He deserves to know he has a daughter. And here it came. The truth I'd been dreading. Damien's expression hardened. Malik Bishop is unstable. Obsessive. He can't let you go, Catherine. He's been calling, showing up at the office, making threats. He's hurt and angry. That doesn't mean. It means he's dangerous. Damien's voice went cold. And I won't risk our daughter's safety because of his inability to move on. I've already taken steps. Legal steps. If he comes near you or Serafina again, he'll be arrested. You can't do that. He's her biological father. And I'm her real father. The one who'll raise her. Protect her. Give her everything. Damien touched my infant face on the screen. He can't give her stability, Catherine. He can't give her the life she deserves. You know that. My mother was crying now. This is wrong. We're stealing his child. We're protecting our child. Damien pulled her close. Trust me, Catherine. This is what's best for everyone. Especially Serafina. The video ended. I sat in that bathroom stall, staring at the blank screen, my whole body shaking. Damien had known. He'd known from the beginning, and he'd chosen to be my father anyway. Not out of deception. Out of love. But he'd also stolen me from Malik. Deliberately. Systematically. Who was the villain in this story? The man who loved my mother enough to raise another man's child? Or the man who kept that child from her biological father? My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Serafina. I know you're in the building. Come to my office. Alone. We need to talk. Damien. Every instinct screamed it was a trap. But he'd also just proven he'd loved my mother. Loved me. Enough to claim me as his own despite the DNA. Another text. Malik is secure. Unharmed. I give you my word. But we're running out of time. Someone wants you dead, and it's not me. Please, Serafina. Trust me one more time. The bathroom door opened. I froze, feet lifted off the ground so no one would see me in the stall. Footsteps. Heels. A woman. Confirmed she's in the building, the woman was saying on a phone. Security flagged her network access 3 minutes ago. No, Bishop is contained. Understood. Proceeding with a contingency. The voice was familiar. Impossibly familiar. I risked a peek through the crack in the stall door. Rebecca Stratton. Damien's chief operating officer. The woman who'd been with Vail Technologies for 15 years. Who'd bounced me on her knee when I was little. Who'd sent me birthday cards at Princeton. She was talking about me like I was a target. The asset needs to be neutralized before she accesses the full files, Rebecca continued. If she sees the March files, she'll know about the contingency plan. Yes, I understand the timeline. Payment will be transferred once it's confirmed. My blood turned to ice. Rebecca was the one who wanted me dead. Not some random enemy. Not a business rival. The woman I'd known my entire life. I'll handle it personally, Rebecca said. It'll look like she got caught in crossfire during Bishop's extraction. Clean. Simple. Yes, sir. She won't leave this building alive. She hung up and walked out. I sat frozen, my mind racing. Rebecca had ordered the hit at my birthday gala. Rebecca had hired the contractors. Rebecca had access to everything, my schedule, my security, the company's money. But why? What contingency plan? What March files? I scrolled frantically through the USB drive. Found a folder labeled March 2025, Contingency. Opened it. Financial documents. Legal papers. And one file that made my heart stop. Succession_plan_revised.pdf. I opened it with shaking hands. The document outlined the transfer of Vail Technologies' control upon Damien's death or incapacitation. Standard stuff. Except, in the event that primary heir Serafina Vail is deceased or unable to inherit, full controlling interest transfers to Chief Operating Officer Rebecca Stratton, effective immediately. She inherited everything if I died. $9 billion. Complete control of Vail Technologies. Everything Damien had built. But only if I was dead first. The bathroom door opened again. Serafina. Rebecca's voice, sweet as poison. I know you're in here, darling. Security tracked your phone signal. There's nowhere to go. I looked at the stall walls. No windows. One door. No escape. Your father is waiting for you, Rebecca continued. I heard her heels clicking closer, checking stalls. He's very worried. We all are. This situation with Malik Bishop, it's tragic, really. A disturbed man manipulating a young woman. Taking advantage of her trauma. She was 3 stalls away. But we can fix this, Rebecca said. You come with me. We'll get you safe. And we'll make sure Malik never hurts anyone again. 2 stalls away. I made a decision. Burst out of the stall, phone in one hand, USB drive in the other, and ran straight at Rebecca. She wasn't expecting it. I crashed into her, sending us both sprawling. Help! I screamed at the top of my lungs. Someone help! She's trying to kill me. Rebecca recovered fast, grabbing my wrist. You stupid little girl. The bathroom door exploded open. Security guards flooded in. But whose security? Rebecca's people? Damien's? Ms. Vail. One of them, Rodriguez, I recognized him from 1,000 visits, reached for me. Are you hurt? She's trying to kill me. I shouted, pointing at Rebecca. She's the one. The hit at my birthday, the contract, everything, it's her. Rebecca stood smoothly, brushing off her suit. The poor thing is hysterical. Bishop's clearly drugged her or. I have proof. I held up the USB drive. Financial records. The contingency plan. She inherits everything if I die. Rodriguez's expression shifted. He looked at Rebecca. I need you to come with me. We'll sort this out in. Rebecca moved. Faster than anyone expected. Her hand went to her jacket. Gun! Rodriguez shouted. Everything happened at once. Rodriguez tackled me to the ground. Other guards drew weapons. Rebecca's gun cleared her jacket. And Damien Vale walked through the door. Enough! His voice boomed with absolute authority. Everyone stand down. Now! Rebecca froze, gun half raised. The guards froze. I froze. Damien looked older than I'd ever seen him. Exhausted. Heartbroken. But his eyes were sharp as ever as they took in the scene. Rebecca, he said quietly. Put the gun down. Damien, she has classified files. She's been compromised by Bishop. I said put it down. Steel in his voice now. That's not a request. Rebecca's hand trembled. For a moment, I thought she'd shoot anyway. Thought she'd kill me, kill Damien, kill everyone rather than lose. Then she lowered the gun. Smart choice, Damien said. He looked at Rodriguez. Take Ms. Stratton into custody. Full security lockdown. No communications. No visitors. Sir. Do it. Rodriguez moved fast, disarming Rebecca and securing her hands behind her back. This isn't over, Rebecca hissed at me as they led her away. You think you know everything? You don't know anything. Ask him about your mother. Ask him how she really died. Then she was gone. And I was alone with Damien Vale. The man who'd raised me. Loved me. Lied to me. The man who wasn't my biological father but had chosen me anyway. We stared at each other across the bathroom floor, and 22 years of history hung between us like a blade. You saw the video, he said quietly. Not a question. I saw it. And the DNA tests. Those two. He nodded slowly. Then you know. You know everything. Not everything. I stood on shaking legs. Rebecca said to ask you how my mother really died. So I'm asking. How did Catherine die? Damien's face crumpled. And I knew, before he said a word, that the truth was going to destroy what was left of my world. She didn't have an aneurysm, he whispered. She was murdered. And Serafina. His voice broke. I'm the one who killed her. The words hung in the air like poison. I'm the one who killed her. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. Could only stare at this man, this stranger wearing my father's face, as he confessed to murdering my mother. No, I whispered. No, you loved her. I saw the video. You? I did love her. Damien's voice cracked. I loved her more than anything. Which is why when she told me she was leaving, when she said she was taking you to Malik, I panicked. The bathroom felt too small. Too airless. She was going to leave you. You were 3 years old. She discovered something in my files, financial irregularities, things I'd done to build the company that weren't legal. She said she couldn't be part of it anymore. Couldn't raise you in that environment. He leaned against the wall like his legs wouldn't hold him. And she'd reconnected with Malik. He'd gotten out of jail. He wanted his daughter back. And Catherine, she wanted to give you to him. So you killed her. The words tasted like ash. Not intentionally. Damien's eyes were wild. We argued. In our bedroom. She was packing your things, and I was begging her to stay. It got heated. She said terrible things. I said worse. And then she tried to leave. Tried to take you right then. What did you do? I grabbed her arm. To stop her. To make her listen. His hand shook. But she pulled away, and she was at the top of the stairs, and she fell, I finished, my voice hollow. Fell, he confirmed. Down an entire flight. By the time I got to her, she wasn't breathing. I called 911, but... He wiped his eyes. She died in the ambulance. Brain trauma. And they ruled it an accident because that's what it was. An accident. You let everyone think it was an aneurysm. Because the truth was too complicated. Because if people knew we'd been fighting, that she was leaving me, that I'd grabbed her, they'd think it was intentional. Malik would have sued for custody. The police might have charged me. I would have lost you. His voice rose. I couldn't lose you too. You were all I had left of her. I backed away from him, my back hitting the bathroom wall. You let Malik think you murdered her on purpose. You let him spend 22 years believing you killed the woman he loved. Better he hate me than take you away. Better. I screamed. You stole his daughter. You framed him. You destroyed his life. I protected you. Damien shouted back. Everything I did, every lie, every manipulation, was to keep you safe. To give you the life Catherine wanted for you. Catherine wanted me with my real father. She wanted you safe. He stepped toward me. And Malik couldn't keep you safe. He was unstable, violent, obsessed. He was a father grieving his child. Tears streamed down my face. And you turned him into a criminal. Made him seem crazy. All to cover up what you'd done. Damien's face crumpled. I know. God help me, I know. But Serafina, I raised you. I was there for every nightmare, every scraped knee, every birthday. I taught you chess. I read you stories. I loved you as my own because you are my own. DNA doesn't change that. It changes everything. I clutched the USB drive. Malik spent 22 years watching from a distance. Protecting me without ever getting to know me. While I gave you everything, Damien interrupted. Education. Opportunity. Safety. Love. Built on lies. Built on love, he corrected. Complicated, messy, imperfect love. But love nonetheless. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Serafina, they're moving Malik. Basement level detention. You have 10 minutes before federal transfer. Rodriguez. Federal transfer. They were taking him away. Taking my real father away. I looked at Damien. Where are they taking him? Somewhere secure. Somewhere he can't manipulate you anymore. He's not manipulating me. He's my father. I'm your father. Damien's composure finally shattered. I'm the one who raised you. Who protected you. Who built an empire so you'd never want for anything. An empire Rebecca was willing to kill me for. That stopped him. Rebecca, he said quietly. How long was she planning this? The contingency plan is dated 3 months ago. Right after you had that health scare. I pulled up the files on my phone. She's been moving money, setting up the hit, positioning herself. The moment I'm dead, she gets everything. Damien's jaw tightened. I trusted her for 15 years. You trusted her with my security. The bitter irony wasn't lost on either of us. She had access to everything. And she used it to try to murder me. I'm sorry. His voice broke. God, Serafina, I'm so sorry. For all of it. For Catherine. For Malik. For not protecting you from Rebecca. For, he couldn't continue. I had a choice to make. Stay with Damien, the man who'd loved me, raised me, and built his entire life around keeping me. The man who'd also killed my mother, stolen me from my biological father, and whose empire had nearly gotten me killed. Or go to Malik, my biological father, a stranger I'd known for less than 24 hours. Who'd protected me, told me the truth, and proven with DNA that he was who he claimed to be. I need to see him, I said. Malik. Before they transfer him. I need to say goodbye. Damien's voice was hollow. To choose. I met his eyes. You had 22 years with me, Damien. He deserves at least 10 minutes. Something in Damien's expression broke. If you go to him, you're not coming back. You know that, don't you? I don't know anything anymore. He'll take you away from everything you've ever known. Everyone you've ever loved. Everyone except my real father, I said quietly. Damien flinched like I'd struck him. I am your real father. In every way that matters. Then let me go. I moved toward the door. If you really love me the way you claim, let me make my own choice. And if you choose him. I looked back at this man who'd raised me. Who'd read me bedtime stories and taught me chess. Who'd killed my mother and stolen me from my biological father out of desperate, selfish love. Then you let me go, I whispered. The way you should have let Catherine go. I walked out before he could respond. The elevator descended to the basement level. Every second felt like an hour. I had maybe 8 minutes before federal agents transferred Malik to somewhere I'd never find him. 8 minutes to decide the rest of my life. The elevator doors opened to a detention area I'd never seen, reinforced doors, armed guards, the smell of concrete and fear. Ms. Vale. Rodriguez appeared beside me. He's in cell 3. You have 5 minutes. That's all I can give you. Thank you. Cell 3's door was transparent, reinforced glass showing Malik sitting on a bench, head in his hands. He looked up when he heard my footsteps. Our eyes met through the glass. Serafina. His voice cracked. You're okay. Thank God, you're. I saw the DNA tests, I interrupted. I know you're my biological father. I know Damien isn't. Malik stood slowly. And Damien just told me how my mother really died. Tears spilled down my cheeks. An accident. During a fight. Because she was leaving him. Because she wanted to bring me to you. His face went white. She was leaving him? For me? For both of us. I pressed my palm against the glass. She wanted us to be a family. And he grabbed her, and she fell, and she died. And you spent 22 years thinking he murdered her intentionally when it was just an accident that he covered up with lies, Malik finished bitterly. That destroyed my life. That stole you from me. Yes. We stood there, glass between us, the weight of 22 years of lies crushing down. What are you going to do? Malik asked quietly. Rodriguez says they're transferring you in 3 minutes. Federal custody. I don't know where. That's not what I'm asking. He placed his palm against the glass, matching mine. What are you going to do, Serafina? Stay with the man who raised you? Or come with you, I finished. My biological father. A stranger who's risked everything to protect me. I'm not a stranger. His voice was fierce. I'm the man who's watched over you for 22 years. Who memorized your favorite color and your schedule and every little detail of your life. Who broke into Vale Tower to prove you're my daughter. Who will never, ever stop fighting for you. I know. But I'm also the man who can't give you what Damien can. The empire. The wealth. The life you've always known. His hand trembled against the glass. If you choose me, Serafina, you're choosing uncertainty. Danger. A father who's wanted by one of the most powerful men in America. And if I choose Damien, then you're choosing safety. Familiarity. Everything you've ever known. His eyes filled with tears. And I disappear. Again. For another 22 years. Or forever. Footsteps approached. Rodriguez's voice, Ms. Vale. Time's up. Federal agents are here. I had 10 seconds to make a choice that would define the rest of my life. Stay with Damien, the man who'd loved me enough to claim me, and loved me so much he destroyed lives to keep me. Or go with Malik, my real father, who I barely knew, who offered nothing but truth and uncertainty. I looked at Malik through the glass. Looked at his hand pressed against mine, separated by inches and 22 years of stolen time. And I made my choice. Rodriguez, I said, not breaking eye contact with Malik. Open the door. Ms. Vale, I can't. Open it. Now. That's an order from the primary heir of Vale Technologies. Rodriguez hesitated. Then I heard the lock disengage. I stepped into the cell. Malik stared at me. "Serafina, what are you?" I threw my arms around him. For the first time in 22 years, I hugged my real father. He froze for a heartbeat, then his arms wrapped around me, tight, desperate, like he was afraid I'd disappear. "I choose you," I whispered against his chest. "I choose the truth. I choose my real father." His whole body shook. "You don't know what you're giving up." "I know exactly what I'm giving up." I pulled back to look at him. A beautiful lie. And I'm choosing an ugly truth instead. Because you earned me. You fought for me. You never stopped. "Ms. Vale." Rodriguez's voice was urgent. "Federal agents are in the building. If you're doing something, do it now." I turned to him. "You sent me that text. You're helping us." "Why?" "Because I was there the night your mother died," Rodriguez said quietly. "I was new security then. And I saw Mr. Vale at the top of those stairs. Saw the look on his face. And I've spent 22 years wondering if I should have said something." My heart stopped. "You knew." "I suspected. And when I saw you running from Ms. Stratton, saw the fear in your eyes, I couldn't stay silent anymore." He pulled keys from his belt. "Service exit, end of the hall. There's a car waiting. You'll have maybe 3 minutes before they realize you're gone. You'll lose your job," I said. "Worse. Damien will. Some things matter more than a paycheck." He handed Malik the keys. "Go. Both of you. Before I change my mind." Malik grabbed my hand. "Thank you, Rodriguez." We ran. Down the corridor, our footsteps echoing. Behind us, I heard voices, federal agents arriving, someone shouting orders. We burst through the service exit into underground parking. A nondescript sedan waited, engine running. "How did Rodriguez?" I started. Questions later. "Move now." Malik threw open the passenger door. I climbed in just as the service door exploded open behind us. "Stop! Federal agents!" Malik floored it. We tore through the parking structure, tires screaming. Behind us, agents scrambled for their vehicles. "They're going to follow us," I said, my heart hammering. "I know." Malik took a turn so sharp I slammed against the door. "But I've been planning escape routes for 22 years. They haven't." We emerged onto Seattle streets, daylight now, morning traffic, people going about normal lives while mine was imploding. Malik drove with precision, weaving through traffic, taking turns that seemed random but clearly weren't. "Where are we going?" I asked. "Airport. I have a plane waiting. Private charter, untraceable." "You have a plane." "I told you. 22 years of planning." He glanced at me. "Serafina, once we get on that plane, there's no going back. Damien will use every resource to find you. The FBI will be involved. You'll be giving up your inheritance, your name, everything." "I'm giving up a lie," I corrected. "I'm choosing truth. I'm choosing you." Something in his expression broke open, joy and pain mixed together. "You're so much like Catherine," he whispered. "She always chose truth too. Even when it cost her everything." My phone rang. "Damien." I looked at the screen, my thumb hovering over the answer button. "Don't," Malik said. "He'll just try to manipulate." I answered it. "Serafina." Damien's voice was raw. "Please. Don't do this. Don't throw away everything for a man you barely know. He's my father. So am I. Biology isn't everything." "You're right," I said quietly. "It's not. Love is everything. And Damien, you loved me enough to lie to me for 22 years. Malik loved me enough to tell me the truth. The truth will destroy you. Do you understand what you're walking into? He has nothing. No money, no security, no way to protect you from. From you?" I interrupted. "Because that's what this is really about, isn't it? You're not worried about my safety. You're worried about losing control. Silence. Then, if you leave with him, I can't protect you from Rebecca's people. She had partners. Others who want you dead for the inheritance. They won't stop just because she's in custody. Ice flooded my veins. What partners? I don't know yet. But Serafina, please. Come back. We'll figure this out together. We'll find them, stop them, keep you safe. You don't have to choose between us. You can have both. No. My voice was firm. I can't. Because you'll never let me go. You'll always find a reason I need to stay. Need your protection. Need your control. That's not fair. Neither is stealing someone's child. I looked at Malik. I'm sorry, Damien. For everything. But I'm going with my real father. And you need to let me go. Serafina. I ended the call. Turned off my phone. And with it, turned off 22 years of Serafina Vale, Billionaire's daughter. That took courage, Malik said softly. That took everything I had. I wiped my eyes. Please tell me you actually have a plan beyond get on a plane. I have a plan. He pulled onto the highway heading toward SeaTac Airport. We fly to Vancouver. I have contacts there, people who owe me favors. We lay low for a few weeks while I investigate Rebecca's partners. Find out who else wants you dead and why. And then? And then we decide. Together. Whether you want to go back and claim your inheritance, or start a new life. Your choice. Always your choice. My choice. For the first time in my life, it really was. We pulled into a private airfield, not the main airport, somewhere smaller, less monitored. A small jet sat on the tarmac, stairs lowered. That's us, Malik said. 10 minutes and we're airborne. 20 and we're out of US airspace. 30 and you're free. Free. The word felt strange. Terrifying. Exhilarating. We parked and ran for the plane. I was halfway up the stairs when I heard it. Click. The unmistakable sound of a gun being cocked. Stop right there, Serafina. I turned slowly. A man stood at the base of the stairs. 50s, graying hair, expensive suit. Marcus Hightower. My godfather. Damien's best friend and CFO. Pointing a gun directly at my chest. Uncle Marcus? My voice came out small, childlike. What are you? I'm sorry, sweetheart. And he actually looked sorry. But you're worth more to me dead than alive. Rebecca was sloppy. I won't be. Malik moved in front of me. Hightower. I should have known. You've been embezzling from Vale Tech for years, haven't you? And Serafina's inheritance would have exposed it. Very good, Bishop. Marcus smiled coldly. Rebecca was my insurance policy. But since she failed, I'll handle this personally. Nothing personal, Serafina. Just business. His finger moved to the trigger. And Malik did something I'll never forget. He stepped fully in front of me, shielding my body with his. You want her? Malik's voice was steel. You go through me first. That can be arranged. Marcus aimed at Malik instead. No. I screamed. The gun fired. The gunshot echoed across the airfield. But Malik didn't fall. Marcus did. He crumpled to the tarmac, his gun clattering away, blood blooming from his shoulder. Behind him stood Rodriguez, service weapon raised, expression grim. I said some things matter more than a paycheck, Rodriguez said. Didn't say I was going to let you two idiots die. Rodriguez. I gasped. How did you? Tracked your route. Called it into the one person I knew would help. He lowered his weapon as another figure emerged from a black sub I hadn't noticed. Damien Vale. My heart stopped. Damien walked past Marcus, who was groaning on the ground, and stopped at the base of the stairs. He looked up at me and Malik with an expression I couldn't read. Rodriguez called me 20 minutes ago, Damien said quietly. Told me about Hightower. About the embezzlement. About how my best friend of 30 years was planning to murder my daughter. Damien, I can explain, Marcus gasped from the ground. Shut up. Damien didn't even look at him. His eyes stayed fixed on me. I've spent 22 years controlling everything. Controlling you. And Rodriguez made me realize something. He took a shaky breath. Catherine died because I wouldn't let her go. Because I held on too tight. And I've been doing the same thing to you. His voice cracked. But you're not mine to control. You never were. Damien, I started. Let me finish. He climbed 2 stairs, then stopped, still below us, looking up. Malik Bishop is your biological father. That's fact. But I raised you. Loved you. And I need you to know, tears streamed down his face. Everything I did, every lie, every manipulation, it came from love. Twisted, selfish, desperate love. But love. I know, I whispered. And I'm sorry. For stealing you from him. For the 22 years you could have had together. For making you choose. He looked at Malik. She's yours. She always was. I just borrowed her for a while. Malik's hand found mine. Damien. Take care of her, Damien interrupted. Give her the truth I couldn't. The freedom I was too scared to give. And Serafina, he looked at me again. You'll always be my daughter. Always. But you deserve to know your real father. To have that relationship. So go. I won't stop you. Behind him, federal agents were pulling up, surrounding Marcus. What about Marcus? I asked. What about Rebecca's partners? I'll handle it. Damien's voice hardened. I'll handle all of it. The embezzlement. The conspiracy. Every person who tried to hurt you. And when it's done, when it's safe, his voice softened. Maybe you'll come home. Visit. Let me be part of your life. Not as the man who controls you. Just as my dad, I finished. Not my biological father. But my dad. His face crumpled. I'd like that. I ran down the stairs and threw my arms around him. Damien held me tight, and I felt him shaking with sobs. I love you, I whispered. I'm angry at you. I hate what you did. But I love you. And I always will. I love you too, little star. He kissed the top of my head. Now go. Before I change my mind and lock you in a tower. I pulled back, laughing through tears. Very on brand. Serafina. Malik stood at the top of the stairs. We need to go. The plane. Actually, Damien interrupted. You don't. Marcus was the threat. Rebecca's in custody. I'll handle the rest. You don't have to run anymore. I looked between them, these 2 men who both loved me, both claimed me, both shaped who I was. I'm still going, I said. Not because I'm running. Because I need time. With Malik. To know him. To build what we should have had. Damien nodded. How long? I don't know. Weeks. Months. However long it takes. And then? And then we figure out what comes next. Together. All of us. I looked at Malik. If that's okay? Malik smiled, the first real smile I'd seen from him. That's more than I ever hoped for. I turned back to Damien. The inheritance. We'll wait. He touched my cheek. You're 22, Serafina. You have your whole life to run a company. Right now, you need to heal. To know your father. To figure out who you are outside of being Damien Vale's daughter. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I'm still going to call. Text. Probably show up unannounced when I get worried. He managed a weak smile. Old habits. I'd expect nothing less. I hugged him one more time. Take care of yourself, Dad. You too, little star. I climbed the stairs to where Malik waited. He took my hand. Ready? He asked. I looked back one more time. Damien stood on the tarmac, surrounded by federal agents and the wreckage of his best friend's betrayal, watching us leave. He raised his hand in goodbye. I waved back. Ready, I said. We boarded the plane. 20 minutes later, we were airborne. Seattle disappeared beneath us, the city where I'd been Serafina Vale, Billionaire's daughter, for 22 years. Now I was just Serafina, daughter of Catherine Monroe and Malik Bishop. Finding out who that meant I was supposed to be. Malik sat beside me, our hands still intertwined. What happens now? I asked. Now. He smiled. Now I get to know my daughter. Really know her. And she gets to know me. We have 22 years to catch up on. That's a lot of catching up. We have time. He squeezed my hand. For the first time, we actually have time. I leaned my head on his shoulder, this stranger who was my father, who'd protected me from shadows for my entire life. Tell me about my mother, I said. Everything. Start at the beginning. And as the plane carried us toward whatever came next, Malik began to talk. He told me about Catherine's laugh. Her brilliance. Her kindness. Her stubborn streak that I'd apparently inherited. He told me about their love story, beautiful and tragic and cut too short. He told me about watching me grow up from a distance. Every school play he'd secretly attended. Every graduation he'd witnessed from the back row. Every birthday he'd celebrated alone, thinking of the daughter he couldn't hold. And I listened, crying and laughing and grieving for the father I'd never known and the mother I barely remembered. Outside the window, the world stretched endless and full of possibility. For the first time in my life, I was free. Free from lies. Free from control. Free to choose my own path. And I chose truth. I chose family, complicated, messy, broken, but real. I chose both my fathers, the one who gave me life and the one who gave me everything else. I chose myself. 6 months later. I stood in front of the mirror in a small apartment in Vancouver, adjusting my blazer. Simple. Professional. Nothing like the designer clothes that used to fill my closet at Vale Tower. You ready? Malik called from the living room. Almost. 6 months. Half a year since I'd boarded that plane and left Seattle behind. Half a year of learning who Malik Bishop really was, not the mysterious protector from the shadows, but my dad. He taught me how to defend myself. How to read people. How to cook terrible pasta and laugh at his worst jokes. We talked for hours every day, making up for 22 years of lost conversations. And slowly, carefully, I'd been rebuilding my relationship with Damien too. Weekly video calls at first. Then monthly visits. He'd kept his promise, cleaned house at Vale Technologies, prosecuted Marcus and Rebecca, made the company safer. But he'd also kept his distance, letting me choose how much contact we had. It was healing. Serafina. Malik appeared in the doorway. The car's here. You sure about this? I looked at him, my father, who'd given up everything to protect me, who'd spent 6 months showing me what unconditional love actually looked like. I'm sure, I said. We drove to the airport in comfortable silence. My phone buzzed with a text from Damien. Safe flight, little star. I'll see you soon. D. I smiled and texted back. See you in Seattle, Dad. Because that's what today was. The day I went home. Not to stay. Not to take over the company or resume being Serafina Vale, heiress. Just to visit. To see Damien. To start building something new, a relationship with both my fathers. At the gate, Malik pulled me into a hug. 2 weeks, he said. Then you're back here. 2 weeks, I confirmed. Then back home. Home. This small Vancouver apartment had become home. With Malik. With truth. But Seattle was home too. With Damien. with my past. I was learning I could have both. I'm proud of you, Malik whispered. Your mother would be too. Yeah? Yeah. You chose truth over comfort. Love over control. You're exactly who she hoped you'd be. I boarded the plane with tears in my eyes and peace in my heart. 2 hours later, I walked through SeaTac Airport and saw Damien waiting, no security detail, no bodyguards, just him. Older. Tired. But smiling. Hey, Dad, I said. Hey, little star. He hugged me tight. Welcome home. I'm only staying 2 weeks. I know. But you came back. That's enough. We drove to Vale Tower, not to live, but to visit. To have dinner. To talk about his plans for the company, my plans for the future, and everything in between. That night, sitting in his penthouse, Damien asked the question I'd been waiting for. What do you want, Seyfina? Long term. The inheritance is still yours if you want it. The company. Everything. I thought about it. About the girl I'd been 6 months ago, polished, controlled, living a beautiful lie. And the woman I was becoming, free, messy, living in truth. I want to work, I said. Not because I'm your heir. Because I'm good at what I do. Let me earn a position at Vale Tech. No special treatment. Just let me prove myself. Damien smiled. You already have. But if you want to do it officially, okay. Start in analysis. Work your way up. And I want to split my time. Half here, working. Half in Vancouver, with Malik. Deal. And I want both of you in my life. Both my dads. No more choosing. Seyfina. Damien's voice was thick with emotion. I don't deserve. Nobody deserves anything, I interrupted. We just choose who we love and how we love them. I choose both of you. Messy and complicated and imperfect. But real. He nodded, unable to speak. And for the first time in 6 months, in 22 years, maybe ever, everything felt right. 3 years later. I stepped up to the podium at the Vale Technologies annual conference, looking out at thousands of faces. Employees. Investors. Press. In the front row sat 2 men. Damien Vale, my dad, who'd raised me. Now semi-retired, watching with pride. Malik Bishop, my father, who'd given me life. Now head of Vale Tech Security, finally acknowledged, finally home. Both of them. Together. My family. 3 years ago, I learned that the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than the most beautiful lie. Today, I'm honored to announce Vale Technologies' new transparency initiative. As I spoke about ethics, about truth, about building companies on foundations of honesty rather than control, I caught Damien's eye. He mouthed, proud of you. I caught Malik's eye. He mouthed, your mother would be too. And I realized, this was what Catherine had wanted all along. Not perfection. Not control. Just truth and love and family, however complicated that looked. After the presentation, reporters swarmed with questions. Ms. Vale. Is it true you have 2 fathers? I smiled. Yes. Damien Vale raised me. Malik Bishop is my biological father. And I'm lucky enough to have both of them in my life. Isn't that complicated? Family always is, I said. But it's worth it. That night, the 3 of us had dinner together, Damien, Malik, and me. 2 men who'd loved the same woman. Who'd both loved me. Who'd fought and lied and hurt each other. And who'd finally found a way to coexist in my life. To Catherine, Damien said, raising his glass. To Catherine, Malik echoed. To Mom, I added. Who taught us all that love is messy and truth is hard, but both are worth fighting for. We clinked glasses. And I looked at my 2 fathers, so different, both so important, and felt complete. Not because my life was perfect. Not because the past was erased. But because I'd chosen truth. Chosen love. Chosen both of them. And in that choice, I'd finally found out who I really was. Seraphina Monroe Vale Bishop. Daughter of Catherine and Malik. Raised by Damien. Loved by both. And finally free. The end. So there it is, beautiful souls, a story about identity, family, truth, and learning that love doesn't have to be perfect to be real. What did you think? Which father would you have chosen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story moved you, if it kept you hooked, if you felt every twist and turn, please hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to hear a story about complicated families and choosing truth. And let me know in the comments what story you want to hear next. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, the truth might hurt, but it's the only foundation worth building a life on. Until next time, keep choosing truth. Keep choosing love. Keep being brave enough to face both. Much love. Red Heart Hash.